In today's quick video, let's talk about beetroot. Let's dive in. Now, of course, beets are a vegetable and you can also use the leaves as well. However, in recent years, there has been more and more research in specifically looking at beetroot and its properties. One of the biggest areas we see beetroot being used in research is with the cardiovascular system, and more specifically in helping to alleviate hypertension. Now, the proposed mechanism behind this is that beetroot contains nitrates, and this is specifically kind of looking at the juice of beets, but you could also use it in the powder as well. But the beets contain nitrates, and those metabolites of nitrates can help to dilate the blood vessels. And the theory is that because of this vasodilatory effect, we have a decrease in blood pressure. Now, the studies I've seen are actually mixed. Some studies show that there was an effect, other studies show that there was no effect on decreasing blood pressure. So the results are kind of mixed. There is also some evidence to suggest that beetroot can help improve endothelial function of the arteries, helping to reduce stiffness and thus making them a little bit more pliable, and again, helping to reduce blood pressure. Beetroot is also antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. We can see in some studies that beetroot helps to decrease the COX-2 pathway, which is a more of an inflammatory pathway. So we've seen it also be used to help to reduce exercise-induced muscle damage. So again, another inflammatory process. It's also antioxidant in the fact that it has a lot of flavonoids and other compounds that help to scavenge free radicals and to help reduce oxidative stress. In some studies, beetroot has also been shown to be anti-lipemic, meaning it can help to reduce cholesterol, but this is generally when it's eaten as a food, and we think that that result is coming from the amount of fiber that there is actually in the beetroot itself. So not going to get that effect if you're just taking it as a juice or as a powder. Now, a newer way in which beetroot is being investigated is also with cognitive function. There have been a few preliminary studies in which supplementing with beetroot juice has helped with the circulation around the prefrontal cortex, but these studies are small and more studies are needed. But preliminary studies are showing that it is perhaps due to the activity of the nitrate metabolites in beets helping to increase cerebral blood flow. So interesting research in using this for cognitive function and also as treatment for things like Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, because supplementing with beetroot and beetroot powder is a little bit newer as compared to some other supplements, dosage is kind of all over the place. We don't really have a standardized dose. In the studies I've looked at, when they're looking at either performance or hypertensive effect, they're using like a single dose of about 70 milliliters to 100 milliliters as a single dose. But in practice, I tend not to recommend it as a juice per se, just because there is also a high level of sugar in that juice as well. Even though it is a natural fruit sugar, having that sugar as a bolus without having any fiber with it can tend to spike blood glucose levels in some of my clients. So when I'm recommending this, I generally am recommending this as a adjunctive supplement for clients who have elevated blood pressure and are looking for other adjuncts to kind of add on. I also have recommended as well for something to add into a smoothie for people looking for that antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effect as well. And again, dosage gets a little bit tricky because each supplement, whether you prescribe it in a capsule versus a powder, is going to be standardized out a little bit different. The most common ones I prescribe that's about 1 gram's worth of beetroot powder. And then as a powder on its own, it's usually about a tablespoon, with that being the equivalent of actually eating maybe 2 to 2.5 beets. So make sure you're kind of working with someone who knows the ins and outs of how to actually dose this if you're looking to get a therapeutic effect. Let me know in the description below if you have any experience with using beetroot and beetroot powder or beetroot juice, and let me know what your experience was. All right, I hope that this video was helpful and I hope that you learned something. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.